And we have an economy that has issues. We've got record debt. We've got encroachment upon our liberties. We need somebody who's going to be bold, who's going to be a leader and take some steps, because the status quo just isn't working right now. The establishment is where we are right now, with high debt, with things that just aren't good. Things aren't the American way. And so I am an outsider. I'm a citizen legislator is what I am, and I'm not the establishment. I'm not a career politician. I don't think after having a career politician for 31 years in the 6th District, we want to go and trade that for another career politician. I just don't think that's a direction that the citizens would want to go. I'm a businessman. I come from the private sector. So I've been out there. I've had to make payroll. I've had to look at expenses. I've had to go to the bank. I've had to do those things that it takes to make an economy run and make this United States private sector run. And I think we need more representation in Washington, D.C. from people from the private sector. Again, not the career politicians. Because of the career politicians, that's where we are today.
Do you think you will be the most conservative candidate in this race?
I think I will be the most conservative candidate. But again, I don't think the distinctions are real big in a lot of ways. It comes from the perspective of me in the private sector, having done what I've done in the private sector, versus a career politician that has made policy for decades, but doesn't necessarily have to operate under those policies that they created. I've had to operate under those policies, just as the other citizens of the 6th have. So I think I bring a different perspective in that regard.
You just mentioned, you talked about your concern about encroachment on our liberties. What do you mean by that?
Yes. Well, I think one big encroachment on our liberty, quite frankly, is Obamacare. I think Obamacare is a disaster. It's causing people to lose their insurers, to have to change doctors. It's increasing their premiums, and it's all costing the federal government, $1 trillion to accomplish this. I think that's just a travesty. It's not the American way. It's not what made us who we are. And I think those are some of the things that are encroaching upon our liberties. That it's just some things we have to combat, and where the status quo just doesn't work anymore.
Let me ask you a question. It's been in the news lately about the 6th Congressional District Republican Caucus, and they voted they would like to see the state legislature assert its right to secede under extreme circumstances in this company. Is that something you endorse?
Sure. Well, I think that is really a reaction to where the federal government is right now. I think it's a reaction to that. And a lot of the big reaction would be to Obamacare. And it's the frustration of the federal government taking those liberties. And I think that's really what it's coming out in that form. And I agree with the governor. The governor said that that's not really reflective of the Republicans in this state, but I think it's just kind of a circumstances that we are living under right now with our federal government and some of the policies it's taking.
Do you anticipate, in terms of funding this campaign, to use some of your personal money to help with the campaign?
Yes, I have said that I will use some of my money, but also there'll be a lot of supporters of mine who will certainly be contributing and helping me with this effort.
Representative Duey Stroebel from the town of Cedarburg is one of the Republican candidates in the 6th Congressional District race. It's good to have you on the program. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.